Hey everybody, you're listening to the sound check. This is Classic Kiss. My name is Garrett Fields, and I'm alongside my two co-hosts, Tyler Rohr across from the table from me.
What's up, everybody?
And Beau Kingor over here to my left.
How's it going, everyone?
Alrighty. We got a good show for you guys today. This is going to be covering the second album from the band Kiss. We covered them last week with their self-titled debut album, Kiss. And their second album, which was released in the same year, I believe, right? Mm-hmm. Is Hotter Than Hell. And it's going to be fun because this is where our opinions start to change a little bit, I think. And it's going to be interesting to hear your guys' point of views because I love this album. However, I can agree that there are some abnormalities about it, I guess you can say.
Yeah, it's a little different than the last one.
Right. But I think it'll be interesting to kind of go over the band's, not history like we did last week, but kind of what was going on during the time of their recording, you know, and what was going on before the recording. I believe they did a tour after their first album, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
right?
They definitely did a tour after their first album, and then I can't remember if it was Casablanca wanting him to go back in, because I know they definitely had a hand in it.
Right.
But I think they also realized, like, we need more money. We got to put something else out.
Yeah. So yeah, it should be informative like the last one was, but I'm actually the one who didn't do really much research for this episode. I decided to take the back seat and I kind of handed the reins off to Tyler and Beau on this one. So they're going to give us a bunch of different facts. And yeah, we'll be right back. All right. So Hotter Than Hell is the second studio album from Kiss. It was released on October 22nd, 1974 by Casablanca Records. Pretty much Kiss was the flagship band for Casablanca, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, they had a lot of hodgepodge acts, so one of the weird ones they had was the Village People, which I always think is funny. But they had like Donna Summer also. So, I mean, they had a good variety, but it was a lot of the people that no one else wanted.
Right. So, yeah, I think, Tyler, you wanted to kind of go over a little bit what happened before the recording, like on tour, or maybe did you want to talk about stuff that happened on the Hotter Than Hell tour, or was this on tour before they recorded?
This was a lot of this stuff is going to be on tour before.
Okay,
so
cool.
In between the two albums.
Okay, cool.
Which actually one of the biggest things to note during this tour is this is actually where we get the "you wanted the best, you got the best" intro bit. Yeah, it started super early in the band's history. Sean, I don't.
Is it Sean Delaney?
That's how I've always said his name. I'm not actually sure how to pronounce it, but
I think it's Delaney.
Okay, so yeah, Sean Delaney, who is of course Bill Aucoin's partner,
right?
He really helped get them into like their characters, helped them find them, refine like the makeup and the costumes. He was the one doing the stage announcement at the time, and I don't remember exactly what he was saying, but I guess they were saying it didn't have enough like flair to it. It was just kind of like flat. And so J.R. Smalling, of course, who sadly recently passed away, he actually came up with the "you wanted the best, you got the best, the hottest band in the world," which when he said it in the book, I was using Nothing to Lose as a reference.
Yeah.
He said hottest band in the land.
Yes.
But I don't know that I've ever heard it said that way.
Yeah, no, on a live one, I think he says hottest band in the land.
Oh,
Kiss.
does he?
Yeah.
I've never noticed.
Yep.
I guess I've just always filled it in because I knew what it's become now.
Yeah.
But he actually got that from a Toyota commercial.
No shit.
Yeah,
a Toyota commercial.
Yeah, and I actually made it in my notes. I guess the commercial was "you asked for it, you got it, Toyota." And so he took that and went, I can make that better.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and so thanks to Toyota, which, I mean, it just, of all the places.
Of all the places, yeah.
But
that's
thanks
actually
to them, we now have
amazing.
The intro that we all know and hear in our wet dreams.
Right. That's amazing. A Toyota. Oh, wow.
So at this point, the band has zero money, no money at all. Like so little money that Bill Aucoin, who is their manager, is putting duct tape over like holes in his suit.
Jesus.
Yeah,
I mean, I knew they were broke.
Yeah, and because that's the story. I want to say I got that one out of the Kissery, first Kissery book.
Really?
Where Paul said he went in to talk to Bill of like, yo, I need more money because I get we're all broke, but like I'm dying here. And he walked in and saw like the duct tape patch on Bill's suit and was like, how can I ask this man for more money? You know, like he's struggling with us. That's not fair.
Yeah.
So, I mean, no money. They actually, the road crew in between like legs of tours and shows were storing their equipment in their garages. Yeah. And so they couldn't afford to rent like storage for them. So the road crew would take all their shit and put it in their own personal like garages at home.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And there's another one where I guess
this is like the true definition
of fake it till you make it.
Of fake it till you make it, and also just like the most dedication.
Yeah.
Because wow. I didn't know that. That's actually really cool.
Yeah, there's another one and there's one specific member of the road crew who a lot of the stories come from. And I don't have his name marked down in my notes. I just, for whatever reason, it slipped my mind to put it in there. I guess he told a story of there was one time where Peter and Paul were together and they went out and ate. And because Peter and Paul have no money, this dude had to like float the bill. Mm-hmm. And then he went to like a 7-Eleven or some convenience store of the same nature and bought a loaf of bread and a jar of peanut butter. And the three of them, Peter, Paul, and this guy, ate nothing but that for like a week.
Jesus.
Yeah, because they had no money, so they just ate peanut butter sandwiches for a week.
Wow.
The same guy also, it was a pyro accident. He was going to light the pyro at one of the shows, and it was in Springfield, Illinois, actually, pretty close to home for us. But
if for those who are listening, we're located in Illinois, and Springfield is about a 2-hour drive, maybe not even that, maybe an hour and a half away from us.
Yeah, about hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah,
and so I guess he was lighting the pyro and it went off. It almost blew his hand off.
Jesus.
Yeah. And so they bundle him up into like one of the trucks or whatever. They're driving him to the hospital and they keep stopping at all the red lights. And the dude just goes, there's no one on the streets. My hand is obliterated. Just get to the hospital. If we get a ticket, I'll pay it. I just save my fucking hand.
And so he wasn't being transported in an ambulance. He was getting transported just in a regular car with his hand blown to fucking smithereens.
Yep. One of their cars. Yep. And
they couldn't call an ambulance probably because they couldn't afford it.
Yeah, no kidding. And so he almost ended up losing the hand, and they actually made him sign like waiver at the hospital of if the doctor can't save the hand, it's okay to remove it.
Damn.
And they ended up saving his hand. So I mean,
that's wow.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah, of all the no money stories, I think that has to be the worst.
Please tell me he signed that with that hand.
That would be amazing.
That'd be obnoxious.
Just like signs it in his blood.
It's like Steve Austin signing the contract with Vince McMahon. Right. But and this is actually, it's one of my last like tour stories, but it's one that I really liked where, especially because now we hear a lot about the inner turmoil in the band and how they kind of just, I mean, of course they weren't on good terms for a while. At this time they were all really close. Yes. There was no like those fractures weren't starting to show yet. We're getting real close to that, but they weren't there yet. And so before all their shows, of course, they're in their dressing room doing all the makeup, the costume and stuff. And Ace would be sitting there telling jokes. Yeah. To which I guess there was one of he told it. And then the next night he looks at Gene and he goes, hey, tell me that joke about the parrot that went to outer space. And Gene just looks at him and goes, Ace, you told me that. You told me that joke. And I guess Peter used to put eggs in Gene's boots. And Gene would put his feet in the boots and crush the egg. He's like, Peter, you son of a bitch. Yeah, and they just laugh about it,
and stuff like that.
Yeah. And so, I mean, nothing harmful. They're all just super close at this point.
Right.
And which, especially looking back on it, is super nice to see because we know they really weren't for a while.
Yeah, unfortunately, all four of them have very big egos. And I feel like that was just a detriment to them it wasn't going to last no matter what happened. They're all like, they all are their own person so much that it's like they weren't going to make any type of, they weren't going to restrict themselves for other people. Right. But that's the thing is it's good to see that, especially in the early years, that they really were a very close band. Yeah. And yeah, they would get annoyed with each other, I'm sure, which anybody's going to get annoyed and stuff, but it wasn't necessarily to the like near as bad as what we see later on down the road. Yeah. And a lot of to this day, sometimes, Yeah.
And a lot of the substance issues really hadn't started yet either. Yeah. Of course, I'm sure.
If I'm not mistaken, I really wish I would have reread No Regrets like closer to this podcast. But when I was reading it last summer, I feel like Ace didn't have a cocaine problem yet at this point. I want to say that didn't start. Of cocaine.
Yeah, I want to say it. Based on what I remember, that didn't really start until Destroyer.
Was it?
I think so.
It wouldn't surprise me, but I'm excited to get to Destroyer because that's going to be probably our longest episode.
Honestly, probably could be. Yeah. That or Hot in the Shade because it's a 17-track album.
I mean, that one can be summed up in like 3 words.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, because of course Ace is still drinking, but he's not drinking super heavily here yet. Yeah. And so they don't really have a whole lot of that problem. Right. I mean, they can't afford the problem anyway.
Yeah, it's coming out of their own pockets for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty interesting. Is there anything else you wanted to share? I mean, leading up to this, there's just not really much to say other than they were playing a lot of shows, trying to, make a little bit of money from touring because they weren't making shit from album sales.
Yeah. And I guess, of course, it'll tie into this album and the next one, too. All 3 of their first albums apparently shipped over 100,000 copies, which at the time, I guess, was considered not bad. But it wasn't what they needed it to do.
Right.
But I mostly just wanted to touch on, of course, this is where we get the iconic intro for all the shows.
Yeah. Which I didn't know that it started at. I figured it started. Well, no, now that I think about it, this is the tours that were going into Hotter Than Hell, like right before. Yeah. So yeah, it would be their first, tours technically.
Yeah, it'd be their first time leaving home. Yeah. And I guess this was also the dartboard tour.
Oh, where they would just throw throw a dart at the dartboard or at a map.
Yeah, and wherever it landed, it's where we're going.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, just one more piece I remembered. Because when they were playing club shows, Peter's drum riser would just be the 8 biggest dudes they could find pulling ropes. Apparently, at this point, they upgraded. Don't know what that is. They upgraded to a forklift.
That's Jesus, dude.
And apparently the forklift only worked about half the time.
So for those of you that don't know, what he's referring to is in a Kiss live show, which I'm sure if you're listening, you probably know a little bit about Kiss, but in a Kiss live show, they would have the drum set rise. Like at the end of the show, when there's the huge rock ending, they would have the drum set rise, pyro would be going off, all this different shit. Well, in the very beginning, they didn't have a lot of money, like we were just talking about. And what they would do, they would go, and I don't even think it was the same 4 guys. It would literally, they would just try and find the 4 biggest guys at each venue and be like, hey, do you guys want to come and help us at this point in the show? And whoever they could get, they hoped it would be the 4 biggest guys, would literally have ropes tied to each corner of the platform that the drum set was on. And they would pull it, like it would be on a pulley system. And they would have the 4 guys like walk backwards and pull at the same time to help the drum set rise up into the air.
And of course, because it's not regulated by any sort of machine, they're off balance. So Peter's rising lopsided half the time.
Literally.
And I guess the way they used to do that is they'd pay the guys in beer.
No shit.
Yeah, they're like, hey, you lift our drum riser for us, we'll buy your drinks.
Yeah, that's amazing. So that's what he's referring to. And then obviously they eventually got the forklift, which didn't work half the time, which I'm guessing they were like, all right, well, when it doesn't work, we're going to fucking use 4 guys or some shit. Oh, man. It literally, like, it's like you said earlier, it's fake it till you make it. They were so hell bent on putting on the greatest show you ever saw or that you had ever seen in your life, because that's what they set out to do. They wanted to be that band that other people never were.
Right.
You know, they were like, yeah, you can go to a concert and sit there and listen to a song that's super deep and has like a bunch of like really, you know, subliminal meanings and all this different stuff, subliminal messages and all this different stuff. But they wanted to create a show where you could go and you could escape life for a couple of hours and just have an entertaining experience, you know, kind of like what people do for a movie or for like an action movie or superhero movie. You know, it's not always about the plot. It's about going, escaping life for a couple of hours, having fun and remembering what it is to have fun, you know?
Right.
And that's one thing that I've always respected about Kiss. And that's what I love about them is they wanted to be the band that nobody else had ever done or nobody else had ever seen. And they wanted you to get your money's worth.
Right.
And so that's why they would do all these crazy antics with the pyro, the forklift and the four burly ass guys trying to, you know, make the drum set rise, the smoking guitar, which I don't know if Ace did that at this point. Do you know if he did it on the first tour?
Not that I've seen. He very well could have, and I just didn't find any information on it.
Right.
I would imagine he probably couldn't have. I couldn't imagine they'd be able to afford it.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, Gene was spitting blood.
Yeah.
So I think that started on this tour. He was spitting blood. He was breathing fire, which I was listening to an audiobook, and it's an actual book as well, but it's called Shout It Out Loud by John Champion, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. And it was talking about it's basically a book that goes really far into the making of Destroyer. But it also kind of does a little bit of background on the band. They don't want to just jump straight into Destroyer. They do a little bit of background about the band, about what albums they did before Destroyer, how they were basically broke as hell, didn't have any didn't have any funding really from the record label because they were putting it all on, I believe, was it Neil Bogart or Bill LaCoin's
the credit cards.
It was both
of them,
American
yeah.
Express, and they were like hundreds of $1,000s in debt.
Oh, that's another one. I want to say it actually happened after Hotter Than Hell, but apparently Neil, because Casablanca couldn't afford to pay anybody.
Yeah.
He went to Vegas because he was so overdrawn on everybody that would lend him money.
Yeah.
He went to Vegas and borrowed $10,000 from a loan shark.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. They covered that in that book that I was listening to as well. Yeah. And it's a good point that you bring up because they were so desperate for money. And actually in that book, they detail about how Gene was inside, I think, either Neil Bogart or Bill Coyne's office, and they had, I want to say, some dude from the circus come in with like the fire breathing thing. And like, he was like, you know, who wants to breathe fire or something. And I think Gene misheard him and raised his hand or something like that. It was like, he said, if you don't want to breathe fire, like raise your hand type thing or whatever.
And he got stuck with it.
I can't remember what it was. I want to say I also read that in Ace's book, but he used to practice breathing fire in the office and there would be ashes everywhere, kerosene everywhere, like shit would be catching on fire. And it's like, what kind of fucking regulations were going on back then? Because how the hell do you just have people blowing fire in an office? You know what I mean? The whole fucking drum set rising and all that different stuff. Like, I feel like half this shit today would literally be outlawed. It definitely is outlawed. You can't just have four dudes trying to fucking pull a goddamn 50-pound drum kit, and which I don't even know if that's a drum kit's weight, and then also a 170 to 200-pound man on that as well. It's nuts to me that they got away with so much of this stuff. No kidding. And I don't know. I just truly blows my mind when you really think about what they did. But
I'm more surprised that Peter never fell.
No
Honestly,
kidding, dude.
like, that's insane.
Got seriously injured and all that. Like,
Yeah.
come on, like.
Which, speaking of falling, apparently Ace used to fall all the time, like during the club days, because he just couldn't get used to the platforms.
No shit.
Yeah, and so he'd fall, and that's where them coming over and like playing around him for Black Diamond comes from, is because he would just plop, there goes Ace.
Really?
So they'd run over and play around him to make it look like it was part of the show.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, so yeah, that's just a little bit of history about the tours and everything. I think next we could probably just jump straight into the artwork for Hotter Than Hell, which I know Beau has some stuff he wants to talk about. He did a little bit of research and did his notes. And what do you have to say about this, Beau?
Well, I looked up the Chinese or the Japanese symbols for this to see what they actually said, and the main symbol there.
You're talking about the one down at the
right,
bottom,
right in the middle there,
or middle
right
bottom,
on, right next to Ace, is the symbol apparently for power.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and they used to use that on Eric Carr's drums in the 80s
yes, they did.
too. Yeah.
One of my favorite drum sets. They looked really
drum
cool.
set is beautiful. I can't wait to cover some of his stuff when we get to it.
And then apparently up in the top right corner also is the phrase "Hell's a shout" or "the shout of hell," depending on however you want to say that.
I wonder. I mean, it's just Kiss being edgy, like devil or like shout out hell or edgelords. But still, I think that's pretty cool that they did put something up there because they were bringing a sound that nobody other than maybe Sabbath was bringing. I guess you could say.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's Sabbath, maybe Priest, and them.
Yeah,
and, I mean,
even then, those two are British bands, right?
Yeah, they're both British.
And I mean, nobody else in American rock music or American music was, doing what they were doing.
Right.
But go ahead, Beau.
Oh, and then the last thing is the Japanese symbols all next to every member is actually their name.
Oh, are you talking about the yellow strips on them or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, those are Japanese symbols?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Those are their names.
Yeah, it's their names in katakana.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
But Aces is
Aces got transliterated wrong. So what they do with katakana to translate they basically, or in transliteration, is they take the characters from the alphabet and they do it kind of like with Greek too, where they have the symbol that looks like an A that means alpha.
Right.
And of course they just replace that with A when they transliterate it because they're taking it and literally translating to what it looks like or means. And I guess the way they did it is it came off wrong, right?
Yeah, it's actually translated basically to say Ace Fury instead of Ace Freely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And you're saying Fury is like Fury?
Yeah.
Interesting. See, I knew that it was Ace Fury, but I always thought that it was on purpose. I didn't realize it was just a transliteration or whatever you call it. It just
because if you're going to pronounce it the way it should technically be read from the way it's transliterated, it would be closer to like Isu Fury.
Oh, okay.
And so instead of being Ace Frehley, they just got it just a little
bit wrong. Yeah. So that's kind of like the is it Japanese symbols or like manga?
Yeah, and apparently that's actually some of the bigger inspiration for it came from manga.
Yeah, that's I think I remember reading that as well. And I mean, if you look at the album cover, it's very, you would think that they were in a foreign country recording this.
Yeah, it's almost got kind of that like Rising Sun kind of feel to it.
One thing that I like, which is interesting, it looks like somebody's holding the album. If you look up in the top left and top right corners, you can see like a finger with green painted fingernails, like kind of like holding it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is really interesting. And I think the picture looks kind of cool. It doesn't, all of the things put together kind of seems like it's all jumbled around. You know what I mean? It's not cohesive to me with the black and white picture, but I kind of like it.
Yeah. That I know was done intentionally in terms of stylistic choices, especially with the silver disc behind them. It was meant to kind of make them stand out differently against the colors of the album.
Yeah. And I will say, I think in No Regrets, Ace covers it, but Ace actually got injured during this photo shoot.
Yeah, I've got notes on that too. Okay. I don't remember, and because I was using Nothing to Lose as a source for some of my information on this one. And that book's presented in kind of like a Q&A sort of format. And I guess Ace got pissed off about something. And throughout it never really said what it was, because I don't know that anyone remembers what it was. I think he just got annoyed. And so he got shit-faced drunk. And he goes up to the dude, I want to say it's the same dude that blew his hand off. And he goes up to his hotel room. If it's not, it's another one of their road crew. I just don't remember who. Mm-hmm. And he goes up because they had 2 rent-a-cars that they had for being in LA, because this album was recorded in LA as opposed to being in New York, where they're from and where they did the first album. And he went, hey, I want to go for a ride. Let me borrow the rent-a-car. So the dude gave him the keys and said, all right, just drop them off at the front desk. Don't come back. I'm going to bed. Don't bother me. And Ace, I guess, just kept going around the same block in Hollywood Hills. And he just kept going around the block faster and faster. And so every time he just keep picking up speed.
Yeah.
And the way he remembers it, he said he wrapped the car around a telephone pole.
Yeah.
And walked all the way back to the hotel, just face covered in his own blood. God. Which no one stopped to ask this man who's covered in blood, hey, what happened?
Right. Or called the police or something, you know?
And so he goes back to that dude's room, wakes the dude up. And he's like, hey, I lost the car. And so they went out the next morning, and that guy tells the story of where Ace says he wrapped it around a telephone pole. The dude says, yeah, it was down about 60 feet down a cliff, stuck on a rock. And if it didn't get stuck on that rock, it would have kept going farther.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So, I mean, we do have a little bit of conflicting stories there. Ace was also heavily inebriated. Yeah. So his might actually be the incorrect story there.
Right.
But yeah, the swelling on his face from the car wreck, because I want to say he had to have stitches for it too. Mm-hmm. It was actually so bad, the doctor told him, you can't put your makeup on. So if you go back and find a bunch of photos from that shoot, they're either edited to have the makeup on that half of his face, mm-hmm. or their side profile.
Yeah.
So you can only see the left half of it, or yeah, I want to say it's the left half.
I think it is
of
his
face.
Yeah.
And because there's one picture in Nothing to Lose where they show it, and it's him standing side profile, and you can see a little bit of the right side of his face without the makeup on.
Yeah. And I think you can see a little bit of a laceration or like his stitches or something.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think I have seen a photo somewhere like that. But yeah, so he only had half of his face painted, and that kind of caused a little bit of problems with them, doing their photo shoot, because I think they had a specific way that they wanted to do it. And then obviously if you can't put a full face of makeup on, they're going to have to do some type of editing, which would have taken a while back then, because, they didn't have digital editing and shit like that. But, yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about the artwork, Beau?
I personally really don't like it, honestly.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah. I think with a title called Hotter Than Hell, make it a little bit darker.
Okay, I respect that, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I get the argument. I personally, I like the album cover. I get the argument, though.
Like, I'm okay with the silver behind him. The picture looks great, 'cause the manga style on it looks phenomenal.
Right.
But you're saying for the name of the album, it just doesn't match it.
Yeah.
Which I think is a fair point, even though I still like the album artwork. I definitely get what you mean.
Yeah.
And especially last week, after talking about the simplicity of their first album cover, this one is definitely in stark contrast.
Oh yeah. But I kind of agree with Beau. I like this artwork, but I like I said earlier, it doesn't really have a cohesive fit.
Right.
There's no cohesion to it at all, in my opinion, other than like if you were to take the black and white picture out of it and maybe do something else, which I think on the back of this, they have that face that has like Jean's tongue, and it's like a mixture of all of their makeup on it.
Yeah, I don't remember where that picture actually is on the album. It might be on the back. It might also be in the liner notes.
I was gonna say it might be in the notes on the inside fold or something like that.
Yeah, because I know what you're talking about. I've got a shirt that has it.
Yeah. Actually, no, it is on the back.
Is it?
Yes,
Okay.
it is on the back. Which is awesome because on the left or technically the right half of the face, if you're in first person, you have Paul and I want to say Aces, because the top half is a star, the bottom half is Aces, star-ish, like celestial type stuff that he does.
Right.
And then on the left hand, you have Gene's makeup, and a little bit of Peter's seems like it's mixed in there.
A little bit down at the bottom.
Yeah, at the bottom, but also it's green. So that gives it that Peter vibe too. And then obviously Gene's tongue is part of it, which I really like that. I think if they would have taken that and put it on the front, I would give this a higher rating than what I would, which I think we could pretty much segue into that. I want to start with Tyler because I know Beau just gave his opinion on it. What would you give this out of 10 artwork rating?
Alrighty. I mean, like I said, I like it. It's not my favorite artwork of theirs.
Yeah.
I like the stylistic choices. I definitely get Beau's complaint. I'd probably go like a 6 or 7. I mean, it's good. It's passable.
Right.
They have better artwork.
What about you, Beau? I want you to rip it to shreds. Just kidding.
Well, I mean, like I said, I like the manga style of them. Like, it looks wonderful. The silver in the background is fine. Honestly, I'd give it a 4. I don't like the I don't know what's on the sides.
Is
there.
it like mountains?
I think they're supposed to be mountains. Yeah.
That like come in on the side. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. That doesn't look cool.
Those look a little out of place.
And then like towards the bottom, going into the silver, put flames.
Yeah, that would actually
that'll look cool. And
give
then
it
like
the hell vibe,
And then like I said, just make the outside the border a little bit darker.
Mm-hmm.
And that album would have looked. I'd have given it like an 8 at that point.
Really?
But right now, I'd give it a 4.
Give it a 4. I'll give it a 5. I'll give it a 5. A solid 5. I think it's bold, and I love Kiss for their album artwork. I think they do a really great job, whereas a lot of bands will sometimes just put whatever the fuck they want on it, and sometimes it's boring, but this still keeps it interesting in my opinion. So that's why I'll give it a strong 5. I agree with Beau on the sense that I wish it was a little bit darker for the title, and this being, I would say, one of their heavier, if not heaviest album, because a lot of the music in this is kind of dark, or
yeah,
really
especially compared to the first album where it kind of feels a little more like we're having a good time, kind of rock and roll.
Yeah, it's the first album's still heavy, but it's definitely got the like more upbeat, like we're having a good time. Whereas this one, maybe it's the production and the quality, which we'll get to in a bit. But yeah, I'll give it a solid 5. I like it, but it just the cohesion of it is just kind of not there for me, and that's what makes me give it a 5.
Fair.
All right, with that being said, I guess we could go ahead and start to get into the track listing. So we'll be right back.
By the time this night's over, we're going to get this place hotter than hell.
All right, so the first track we have to break down is personally one of my favorite Kiss songs. And I know I say that about every song. No, but
it's kind of true. Like, they put out at least 2 or 3 songs every album that we all love.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Until the 80s albums.
Yeah.
But the first song, Got to Choose, written by Paul Stanley, one of my favorite songs to play on guitar, actually. And I want to go to Beau first, because we were just talking about this the other day about the drums in this song. And what do you think about the drums in this song? I know you brought an interesting point about the open hat.
Oh yeah, the hi-hat.
Mm-hmm.
He first of all, I love the drums on here.
Oh yeah.
I love this song too. He when he's hitting that rhythm, he's also opening up that hi-hat.
Yeah.
Right before he hits that crash. It just makes it pop.
Oh yeah. It's a nice, not a drum fill, obviously, but it's a nice like segue into that crash cymbal. And I think we were talking about this too, how it like, this is probably the first song that you really hear some like rhythmic, opening hi-hat stuff from Peter that I can think of. There might be some stuff on the first album, but
this is also the first song you hear him use the slight use of that cowbell. Oh, he loves it in this album.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. This is the first album where you hear a fuck ton of cowbell from him. You get it in All the Way, which we'll get to. You get it in.
I think you also get it in Parasite a little bit of
Parasite. I think there's somewhere in there, but yeah, that's actually a good point. He does bring in some cowbell. Does he have it on this song? I can't remember.
Towards the end.
But overall, a really good groove. I think it's not like super like. Not super groovy and swingy and stuff like that, but it's got a good,
because they were going for what, a live sound?
Yes,
during this production.
Yeah, they wanted it to sound a lot more like what they sound like live,
and unfortunately, they kind of trashed it.
I feel like it hurt some songs on this album a little bit.
Yeah, I actually want to say it was Richie Weiss, because it was produced by Kerner and Weiss, like their first album was.
Yep.
And I want to say he has actually since come out and said, no, that was my fault. I wasn't really fully in it. And we didn't get the sound I wanted.
Yeah.
Because some songs, it doesn't hurt this song.
Yeah,
I think Parasite sounds perfect.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, so that's the drum track. Anything else you wanted to add?
No, not really.
It's pretty straightforward drum track. And that's how a lot of Peter stuff is, but that's what I love about Peter is that he doesn't try and be anything he isn't. Like we talked about last episode, a lot of what Kiss is them doing what they're good at. Yeah. And not trying to be more than what they need to be.
Right.
So with that being said, I would like to get into the guitars because this has one of my favorite guitar tracks in any Kiss song. And I don't know what it is. I mean, it sounds kind of poppy, like pop rock. And Paul just, I don't know. He's a great songwriter. He really is. And I think I was listening to an Eddie Trunk podcast, and it was either Eddie Trunk or somebody, or maybe it was one of his guests that he had on, but they were talking about how they were kind of surprised that this song didn't pop off back in the day. They were really, because I think this is the only single from, no, this is not the only single. This is not a single actually at all. There's only one single, which is Let Me Go Rock and Roll.
Right.
But they were surprised that this wasn't a single because they feel like this could have been a hit song for Kiss before Rock and Roll Night would have been, and because it's got some, relatable lyrics in a sense, got to choose in a sense of you got to choose between who's your baby, who do you want to love, type thing. It has like those, pop lyrics in a sense,
right,
that people can sing. It's got a good melody. It's got some good chord progressions. The guitar solo in it's pretty good. And that's what I want to talk to you about is what do you think about the guitar solo in this one?
It's one that I really think it's going to be a theme we come back to a couple times throughout the album. The guitar solo is not complex. No. It's really not. It's pretty chill. But just like Peter's drumming, it does what it needs to.
Yeah.
It doesn't overly complicate the song, especially because it is kind of more of a little more laid back kind of chill song.
Right.
That probably could have been a radio hit.
Yeah. And I'm not going to sit here and say that it would have been the biggest Kiss hit, but I feel like this probably could have done better than Let Me Go Rock and Roll as a single.
Honestly, probably. But I like that we get more kind of like what we get on Firehouse with the kind of chicken pluck sound in the guitar solo.
He does do that. And sounds pretty cool.
And this is actually a song that it's another one kind of like Strutter where I never appreciated it. And now as I've gotten older, and especially this time going back to listen to it for this episode, I love this song. I really do. And we're going to have a couple more songs throughout the next couple albums too, where I didn't like them and I appreciate them more now. But for whatever reason, I never used to vibe with this one. And it's probably one of my better songs off the album for me.
Right.
What was it you called? Let Me Know, an overlooked gem.
Oh, a hidden gem. I think Tyler said a hidden gem. I said forgotten gem, but Tyler said a hidden gem on the album, and I feel like
this is another one.
Yeah, and
I feel like this album's full of them, honestly.
Right. And I will say I can kind of agree to it. I would say more of a forgotten gem because it is the first song. So you're like, when somebody gets an album, especially back in the day when they had vinyl, this is the first song that they're going to hit or get. But like I can agree. It's a gem that's just not, I feel like, fully appreciated. Because I didn't like the song either. And then the more I grew up, I was like, this is a solid song. I really do like it. And I actually think I like the album version of this song more than the live version.
Interesting.
Which is not the case for me on a lot of songs. You brought up an interesting point about the vocals. They kind of alter, don't they? I think Gene sings a little bit and then Paul sings a little bit, right?
I mean,
or no, that was fuck, what was that?
Watching You. I'm thinking they harmonize a lot.
Yeah,
and then Gene, of course, does a lot of the throughout the kind of vocal fills.
Yes. Which anytime they harmonize is always a good time. So
yeah,
they really do have two different voices that work really well together. I mean, I don't know what else to say about this track. It's a solid track. I really love it. It's not a crazy complex, super technical track. I'm not saying it's their best work, but it's a good song to sing along to have fun with and all that different stuff.
It's not as in your face as Strutter was to start off an album.
For sure.
But I think it's a great way to start off an album.
Right. And I will say with this song, you really get the production differences from the first album to this. The first album was like super, it was a little bit clean. It was a little bit more polished. And then this one, you're like, the snare drum sounds like it was recorded in a fucking giant ass echo chamber or reverb chamber, I should say. The kick drum's not really there. I wish that was mixed in a little bit more. Very washy sound on the cymbals. And we talked about it, that they were trying to go for their live sound, and I just think they kind of missed the mark. They definitely missed the mark, but we're going to get to this next song in a second, which we'll talk about how the production quality on this album fits that song. I do feel like it kind of fits this song, but I
kind of wonder what it would sound like if it was on the first album.
Oh, this song?
Yeah.
I agree. That would have been interesting to hear with a little bit more polished production.
Which we actually have a couple songs on this album that were apparently holdovers from the last one.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Were they from the demo that they recorded with Eddie Kramer?
From what I understand, they were just songs that they brought in to do on the first record that just didn't make it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you know which ones those are?
Mm-hmm.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, I'll bring them up when we get to them.
Cool. Awesome.
I wish this was one of them, but it's not.
No.
All right. Well, the bass line is, I think it follows I want to say it follows the guitar line in this, or the guitar chords. So it's not a crazy bass line or anything like that. But yeah, I'd say that's pretty much all about Got to Choose. Very catchy lyrics, very catchy melody. So that's always a plus, but I think we can go on to one of our collective favorites, I could say. I know for sure for me and Tyler, but holy fuck, Parasite.
Love this song. Absolutely adore this song.
This song is fucking nuts, to put it best.
I love it. And it's Ace's, in terms of track list, it's Ace's first writing credit on the song, or on the album.
Yeah. And I think, holy hell, what a way to like counter that first song. The first song is super poppy, like very, I wouldn't say happy, but just a good song to listen to on a good day, just something to sing along to and have fun with. Whereas Parasite, in my opinion, is the prototype for a lot of metal. I feel like this song is something that a lot of metal guitarists and metal musicians can point to as being one of their favorite tracks, at least from Ace or from Kiss. Is a lot of people will be like, Parasite. I mean, how heavy that riff is, The production on it is obviously the production on this whole album is kind of the same, but it fits this song so well.
Right.
So what did you have to say about it, Beau?
We could definitely start to see who is the better songwriters in the band when it comes to it. Because got to choose Paul. He hit it really well, but Ace's Parasite
and it makes you wish he wrote more.
Yeah, and because he's got 3 credits on the album, one of which is a dual credit with Paul, which I actually really like.
Yes,
that's not a collaboration you see a whole lot.
Right. Yeah.
Granted, we'll get to that song when we get to it. Not necessarily one of my favorites, but I appreciate it. But this Parasite, dude, that for me is necessary Kiss. One of my favorites to play. If I go see them live, I want to hear that song.
Yes, same. And hearing it live, it just rips. And that's the thing is, unfortunately, I can't remember back in 2000, what was it, 4 when me and you went to see him, Beau? Was it the Rock the Nation tour?
That's the first tour I saw him on.
And I think that was the same year as us that we went, because you went to the indie show, we went to the Chicago show. I don't know if they played this song live. I know on the Rock the Nation DVD they play Parasite. Granted, it's with Tommy and Eric, but man, it fucking rips, dude.
Oh yeah,
sounds awesome. It's to me, it's early metal prototype stuff. You know what I mean? It's really heavy music, fast, loud ass drums, loud ass guitars, awesome guitar riff, screaming lyrics. I mean, Gene's vocal performance in this is absolutely insane. Which I'm glad that Ace was still a little bit uncomfortable singing at this point.
Yeah,
because it gave Gene this song, or he gave Gene this song,
and Gene's voice fits.
Oh yeah, fits. And I love Ace, but when I hear him sing this live, I don't feel like it packs as much of a punch as what it does with Gene's voice.
Yeah, and Gene taking the vocals on a song that was written by someone else in the band it's another one where we're really going to see one of the songs that is heavily associated with Gene on a album we'll get to here pretty soon, that I don't know that most people realize, just because it doesn't seem like it would be anyone else's song. It just fits him.
Yeah, exactly. When you hear this song, you would immediately think that Gene at least co-wrote it because of how well he delivers the vocal performance.
Yeah. I mean, this has always been one of my favorite Kiss songs.
Yes. And same for me. I've always liked it, but as I got, especially in the last 3 or 4 years, and the more that you have talked about it, I really do love this song.
Oh yeah.
Which I do want to talk about the drums a little bit, because I think this is Peter's heaviest song for drums.
Very complex song too.
Oh, his kick drum in this is insane. And everything. I mean, he's wailing on the fucking drums in this. It's
because when he's playing, he's also hitting a snare offbeat.
Yeah, he's doing ghost notes or whatever it's called, I think.
Oh man.
Yeah,
it throws off. So good. It throws off my timing so bad. But I've tried to learn how to play this song on drums, and I just can't.
It's a tough song. Probably this is my favorite Peter performance in any drum song ever, because of how loud and how hard he plays it, his rhythms, with his kick drums, and like you said, the offbeat snares, and then that little breakdown part in the middle where it's just Ace and Peter playing together, the boom boom bam boom boom bam. With that being said, I do want to get into the guitar solo, because I think this is one of your favorite, if not your favorite, guitar solo from Ace. Is that right?
Oh yeah, no, this is definitely one of mine, and it probably helps that it's one of the first ones, especially, but one that I learned how to play.
Oh, really?
And it makes me feel awesome being able to play it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It sounds cool.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing about this song that I could find a problem with.
Right. It's a very solid song, and Gene's bass part also follows that guitar riff, if I'm not mistaken, because Ace has a knack for writing the bass line to follow the guitar line or riff as well. But but it does the ba-da-ba-bum bum ba-da-ba-dum bum ba-da-ba-dum bum ba-da-ba-dum.
Yeah,
and
which,
it's
granted, I mean, of course, we're not talking about them, but they're heavily inspired by. I think that's actually one thing that Pantera pulls really well from Kiss.
really
Because, of course, Dimebag is inspired by Ace. He's got the Ace tattoo on his chest.
yeah.
But most of Pantera's stuff, the bass follows the guitar. And, I mean, granted, it'd be hard to go anywhere else with Pantera, but, I mean, I think that is partly where that inspiration comes from.
Right. Yeah, I do enjoy Ace's songwriting because he really goes for it when he tries, and you can see that in this song. I don't really know what else to say about it other than it's just a fucking heavy ass track.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome song, and definitely I'd say my second favorite Ace Frehley song.
Interesting. Okay.
We'll go ahead and go to the third track on this album, Going Blind, written by Gene Simmons and Stephen Cornell.
Which this is one that it's not from the first album, but it was a holdover from Wicked Lester.
Was it really?
Yeah, because Steve Cornell is actually the guy that introduced Paul and Gene.
Okay.
That's him. So it, like I said, holdover from Wicked Lester, and the working title to the song originally was actually Little Lady. And so, I mean, of course, they took it, kind of changed it a little bit.
I think
and then,
he says that in the song, right? Little lady, can't you see?
Yeah, which I don't
Sorry
know.
for my awful singing.
You're good. They actually on Symphony, I don't know why he changes it, and I think it's to make it more of a like link to Australia. But if you ever notice, he says little lady from the land beneath the sea. And I like the way it rings.
Interesting.
Yeah. And,
I never caught that.
yeah. Because I
Never.
caught it because I went and listened to that version the other day just to have a change up a little bit from listening to the same album. And I caught that and I was like, that's a weird change that he made there.
Yeah.
But I like it. Sonically, I think it sounds cool.
Right.
But
A nice little switch up, especially if it is just for like the Australia show. It's always nice to, do something for where you're playing at to make it a little bit more special.
right.
What else to say about this song? It has a really beautiful chord progression, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I do think that this is, other than the solo, which we'll get to because I really do want to talk about the solo. I feel like this is one of the songs that does kind of get hurt by the production style on this album.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. And for me, because this is actually something I mentioned to you the other day, because I sat down and learned this song this week.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't realize because I tried to do it by ear at first, but because of the production on it, I just didn't know where I was.
Uh-huh.
And the bass line stands out heavy on this song.
Does it?
Yeah, because it almost holds a melody to itself.
Oh, yeah. The boom, 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 bo-do-do-do-do.
Yeah, and so when I was trying to sit down and learn it, that's what I was trying to learn. I'm like, I'm not playing a bass. What am I doing? But that song just, the way they produced it, the chords almost come off too muffled.
Yeah, the chords are very muffled. They did a lot of reverb on this album, and it kind of washes it out, and it just sounds muddy. A lot of like any audio engineers that are listening, they'll understand what I mean by that. But especially with this song, it just sounds, the audio quality and the production quality just doesn't do it good. But I will say I do want to get to the guitar solo, because the more that I listen to it, damn, I love this solo.
Yeah.
It is very reminiscent of like David Gilmour stuff from Pink Floyd. Very psychedelic, very long, sustained, drawn out notes, a lot of bends, vibrato, all that different type of stuff. A lot of reverb on this solo as well. Not fast, not too flashy. It just sounds really good.
Yeah.
And I can't lie, when I re-listened to this song this week in preparation for this episode, if I were to hear a snippet of just the guitar solo, not just the guitar solo by itself, but the snippet of when the guitar solo starts, the whole band playing together and whatnot, I would think this is a Pink Floyd song. I'm not gonna lie. It's just something about it. I was like, man, this is very Pink Floyd-esque. Like, wow. And Ace does really good on it. So that's my thoughts on the guitar solo. I don't know if you guys want to add anything, but I really do like it more and more every time that I come back and listen to it.
The guitar solo on here is probably my favorite part of this song. Really? Honestly,
yeah. At least on the studio version, for me, the guitar solo does.
I've never really liked the song, and I actually never put together the lyrics. So
I think Tyler and you were getting into it, not getting into it, but talking about that.
I told him, and he started laughing at me. And I'm like, I never paid attention to
Tyler,
him.
do you want to tell us the lyrics?
Well, I was gonna spare him that, but he just walked into it himself. So you brought that one on yourself.
No,
buddy.
dude, I don't care.
But of course, a lyric, and it repeats in the third verse of the song too. I'm 93, you're 16. Of course, it's about a relationship that's doomed from the start because of an age difference in it.
Yeah, I mean, a fucking massive age difference. Yeah. Jesus.
And we're sitting at work the other day, and Beau looks at me and he goes, I never got that that's what the song was about, because I never knew that was the lyric.
I never paid attention to the lyrics.
Yeah.
I always just pay attention to like the drums and the music aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because the drums actually have no rhythm. Like, it's not really much of a hi-hat snare. It's just mainly rolls.
Very simple, yeah. It's just a slower paced song. I think this is probably one of their slowest songs in terms of beats per minute, at least counting quarter notes that I can think of, because his drums are very laid back in this. And of course, I don't think that the kick drum is mixed well on the entire album, so that also sucks that you can't really hear the kick drum, so you don't really get where that rhythm is with that. But yeah, I would agree.
So I don't think we're gonna get that kick drum really into like Destroyer. You could hear it on there, but
maybe a little bit on Dress to Kill. But all right, well, I think that pretty much does it for Going Blind. Next up is Hotter Than Hell, the title track to this album, written by Paul Stanley, and I'll let one of you guys go first. What do you think of this song?
Honestly, I love this one. It's one where I kind of went through a lull through the years because I liked it as a kid. And then I kind of just like, it's okay. I really appreciate this song as an adult.
Oh, yeah.
It's another one where I really think it's one of the higher points for the album. And I'm pretty sure this is the song that you were trying to think of the other day when you were talking about how they do the kind of left and right on the guitar solo, where they have one playing in the left, one playing in the right, and they kind of mesh weird.
Yeah, it's either this one or a later song on the album. It might be.
I'm pretty sure it's this one, the more I keep thinking about it. But I mean, I could very well be wrong. But
well, it probably is this one as well. There's a couple songs on here where I think the mixing decisions are not the best, but I can't really talk shit because this is a solid album. So. Yeah. But anyways, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, you're good. I like the sort of harmony between the guitar in the riff after the chords, and it's got the ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. I like how they kind of harmonize that.
Yeah, that sounds really good, and it reminds me of Layla by Eric Clapton.
Yeah, I want to say they do the same step counts between the notes.
Yeah, I do really like that part as well. I think it really gives it a different dimension, or different, just a little bit of a lick in there, instead of just the chords, like what they do during the verse. The drums in this hit heavy. I will say this is one where I think there's a lot of groove in the drums on this one, and the song is groovy in general. It kind of reminds me of Firehouse in a sense.
I kind of get that.
But just super groovy, kind of laid back on the drums. Not laid back in terms of him playing, but like behind the beat a little bit. A little bit of swing in there.
I found out this song was actually kind of inspired by All Right Now by Free. Paul Stanley really liked those guys.
Wow.
Yeah,
my mind's blown.
Yeah, when I found that,
I'm thinking of that song, and I'm like, damn.
It almost sounds nothing like it, but yeah,
I can hear some like similarities in some parts of it, but interesting. But yeah, this was written by Stanley. Another solid song from him. He's just further solidifying himself as a solid hard rock songwriter, I think. The solo on this there's not really a solo. There's a little solo going into the second verse, I want to say. It's like right after the chorus and goes into the second verse. The boing, 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 boing,
okay. Yeah. Because sitting here trying to think about it, I actually can't for some reason. I'm drawing a blank.
I mean, there's a guitar solo at the very end where they do like another coda in a sense, kind of like what they did on Let Me Know.
Right.
But yeah, I really do like that ending part at the very end where the hits the fucking big ass China cymbal, which is perfect for this album, you know, because of the Asian cultural feel to it, you know what I mean? But I mean, I don't really have anything else to say about this song. It's a solid song, fun song. I've liked it more as I've grown up.
This is one I've never really actually liked.
Really? You still don't like it as much?
I don't mind it. I throw it on.
You can disagree with this. I'm not trying to be like, hey, you don't like it, but I just want to make sure that
if you throw it on.
I mean, I might do that on the way out to the car, but like
all the way to the car, we're gonna sit here. Hotter Than Hell is great. No, it's not. Yes, it is.
And Beau has no kneecaps now.
Jeez. Oh man. All right. Well, that being said, we're definitely gonna go to the next song. Let Me Go, Rock and Roll. And I want to point out that this is written by Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. Another phenomenal song written by these two.
Yeah, and pretty short song too. I want to say it's just over 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's like, let's see here. Actually, I think we could pull it up. It's very short. Because it's a fast song.
Yeah, because I was going to say about 2 minutes, 15 seconds, just a little over.
It doesn't feel like that when you listen to it.
Yeah.
That is so weird.
I feel like this is definitely another live staple. And of course, this was their show closer for a while.
It was.
Yeah.
And it's a solid song. And their live version of it is definitely a little bit longer because they add in a whole nother part, which works really well. I just love the song because it's got that 100,000 Years / Deuce vibe to me, in the sense that it's just a rock anthem. It really is. And Ace solos a bunch in this song. Gene's vocals are fucking awesome. I think the drums in this are really cool. What do you guys think of? I mean, I guess the song in general. Do you guys like it? Do you like the album version of it? Because the album version of it is different, obviously, than the live version. What do you guys think?
Don't they put a drum solo in live on this song?
They put kind of like a bass fill in there, and the drums go under the bass fill, but it's not necessarily like a full
boom, 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 boom. Yeah, and like the drums do the pa pa ch 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 pa pa, and then it goes into the type thing.
As far as the studio version of the song, I like it. There's not really much to say. It's only 2 minutes and 16 seconds long, so like, I wish it was longer.
Right.
Put it out more and
no, I feel it. I really like this one. I like every version of this song.
Yeah.
It never really feels that short. But this one, of course, has a lot of Zeppelin to it because, of course, they're the main inspiration, of course, being rock and roll.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Rock and Roll by Led Zeppelin, you can very clearly tell, whether they want to admit it or not, inspired this song. The guitar riffs are very similar, but not like a rip off or anything.
Yeah, it's not like a copy paste, but
no,
you can tell where it comes from if you listen to it.
Yeah.
But this was actually one of the songs that was a holdover from their first album.
Interesting.
Yeah, this one, and there was one other on the album. Apparently just didn't make the first album for whatever reason.
Wow. I didn't know that, actually. So that's interesting. I think we could probably go to All the Way by Gene Simmons, the 6th track of this song. And I do want to say real quick, I know that we did talk about the cowbell use, and this obviously is there's a lot of cowbell in this song, just kind of mixed in the background. It's not super audible during the verses, but obviously that like little break after the opening guitar riff, the yeah. And it just fits so perfectly, and I really like that. Do you have any other opinions on the drums? I mean, obviously we get some cowbell.
Overall on the song is just a groovy song.
Oh yeah.
It's not like the other 5 that we've talked about so far.
Right.
Yeah, and this is one I like coming back to the album more than I used to because I just never held a place in my brain.
Yeah.
I want to say though, this actually was used in the Second Coming documentary.
Was it really?
I want to say it was, yeah, because I immediately remember the riff, and this isn't a song that ever stood out to me before.
Yeah. I know this is in a couple different documentaries because, like, I think it's the one when Kiss Ruled the World that aired on VH1.
Yeah.
Or some shit. Who even fucking knows if that's still a channel? But yeah, it's one of those that I've heard in a couple different documentaries just in the back. And I'm like, it's one of those songs you're listening to. You're like, man, this is a kind of a good song. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
This is all the way on fucking Hotter Than Hell. And yeah, this is another one of those songs that I never really appreciated, but I like more and more, recently, at least I should say, that I've listened to it. Good little opening guitar riff. Not much to say. It's not super crazy. Ace has a pretty solid solo on this one.
Yeah.
It's very kind of not mind blowing, but surprising when you hear how hard he went on this song.
Yeah. No, I think it is one of the underappreciated songs on the album, but it doesn't help that it's chocked full of really good songs.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we covered the drumming, guitars, bass line is there. It's not doing anything crazy. I feel like Gene's bass work on this album just didn't live up to what it was on the first album,
which I think is a fair criticism.
Yeah.
It's not bad by any means. It's just not as good as it was on the first album.
But yeah, I agree. There's just not much there on here. But it is written by Gene Simmons. It's a solid song. But I like this next song we're about to get to. Track number 7, Watching You by Gene Simmons. This song has a fucking awesome guitar riff.
Yeah. And this was, I guess, the other song on the album that was a holdover from their first.
No, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And of course, this became a live staple after the album came out. And this and She from Dress to Kill, their next album, would be the ones that they would move the coda from Let Me Know onto when they play them live.
Cool. Yeah, I think I remember you mentioned that last week. This song is awesome because the drums in it are so much of it is drum fills, you know, especially during the chorus where he, kind of like Parasite, he does a lot of drum fills during the choruses, or not choruses, but like verses going into the choruses and stuff. There's just a lot of fills in here. Very swingy jungle type drums, I like to call them, which plays well with Peter because he's obviously very influenced in jazz and jazz rock and stuff like that. So he just has that shuffling type feel to his drums. Do you like the drums in this song?
Personally, yeah, actually. Okay. I actually never really liked this song, and then I got more into it. Yeah, I feel like that's just so many of their songs. With honestly, I didn't really know this song until probably about this song until probably about 3 or 4 years ago. I didn't really care to listen to Hotter Than Hell that much. And then I realized how much of a fucking awesome album it is. And this song has always stuck out to me as something that's just very jam tracky, having fun, good, good riff. Not much of a guitar solo in here. They just they do like a jam part, in my opinion, where it's like the boom, 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 and you can kind of hear a little bit of guitar work in the background. He hits a couple of hammers or a little bit of scale work towards the latter end of the song. But I don't know. Do you have any opinions on it?
No, I mean, I really love the riff. I think the guitar playing through the whole song is really cool. And then it's got, I like his lead fills on this a lot too, where they're not really solos. They're just nice little licks in between some of the vocals.
Yeah.
But that's about all I really got for this one. I like it, but I mean, we're just moving
This
along.
one's an interesting one because we'll talk more about it on a live 3, but they do this song on a live 3 with with Bruce, Eric, and obviously Gene and Paul. They do, and I never knew it until I was probably a couple months ago when I was driving around for work and heard it on a live 3, and I was like, wow. Did not expect this song to be on there, but I think they wanted to throw like an OG classic on there, you know, just to have it on there, but we'll cover that when we get closer to it.
Interesting. I didn't know
that. I think Gene's vocal work on this is really cool, just to add that in.
Yeah, and then he's got a little bit of the back and forth with Paul on the second verse.
Yep, he does. And you were talking about that just the other day about, for those of you guys that don't know, me, Tyler, and Beau work together so often. We will talk about, you know, certain things at work.
I think we drive the people down there crazy with how much we talk about these guys.
Probably,
right.
But especially since we started doing this, I know we've kind of tried to hold back a little more so that we have more to bring
to the
for
table.
the podcast.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Watching You. It's a solid song. I think we can go to Mainline, which was written by Paul Stanley, which is interesting because it's sung by Peter.
Yeah, and this was actually one, they gave it to Peter because Peter threatened to quit if he didn't have a song on the album.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so that's why Paul gave him Mainline, was because, I mean, of course, he's requesting one, so he just threw one at him.
Right.
I can't believe they weren't going to give him one.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Which he sings another song, which we'll get to it, the last track on this album. But this song, it's got a fun guitar vibe to it. This one has more of that jazz rock sound to me.
It's like a nothing to lose type thing.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's a little more like, it's got some of that repetitive to it that's typical of like pop rock.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's got a little bit of swing to it. It's just, you know, I mean, it just goes.
Yep. And it fits Peter's voice pretty well, I think.
Yeah,
I think if Peter didn't sing on this song, I wouldn't really care for it as much. I don't care for it already, you know, as much as I do other songs, but I definitely think that if Peter wasn't not the singer on the song, I don't think I'd like it, you know, especially in the chorus. He does the chorus really well.
Yeah, no, I think I agree.
But I mean, do you guys have anything else you want to add to this? Not really.
Nah.
Yeah, there's just not much to say. The second half of this album is a little bit weaker, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I don't really think any of the tracks on this album are weak. It just the first half it's definitely a front loaded album.
Yeah. Next we have Coming Home, which is the first song that I want to say one and only song that we get that's written by both Ace Frehley and Paul Stanley. Which is a pretty solid song that to me, you can tell that that Ace had a hand in writing it. Especially because it's more of one of his poppier songs, I guess you could say. It's got a good guitar riff. And anything that Ace writes always has a good guitar riff, you know. The lyrics most likely were probably written by Paul.
If I had to guess, which is probably where that collaboration comes in, if I had to bet, Ace probably wrote a good chunk of the music and then Paul did the lyrics.
Exactly. I do like this song, especially just how it's got more of a structure, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Than what a lot of Ace, not necessarily Ace songs have, but the part where they kind of like go down the neck in their chords, like I want to say either halfway through or more towards the latter end, where it's the I love that part. I think that fits so well. And honestly, I feel like it gives us a little bit of a foreshadowing into Do You Love Me, because they have a part in Do You Love Me that has the boom, boom.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting parallel. I don't know that I would have thought about that if you didn't mention it.
Right. And I really like this song. I think it's a solid showing between two people who are vastly different in their writing ways, in my opinion. But but I can't really think of the guitar solo on this. It doesn't stand out to me, you know. I mean, I know what it is, but it just doesn't stand out to me like an Ace solo usually does. Even on his more subdued solos, they still kind of stand out to me.
Yeah, and I think this is one that benefits from the unplugged.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I think that's the only live performance that we have on a record.
Yeah, it might be,
because I don't think this is on a live. I'm
pretty sure it's not, actually, thinking about it.
But anything you want to say about it, Beau?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you do?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I don't mind this track. Okay, I love it. On Unplugged, phenomenal. I do not like this studio version. The production on it, I don't like it. It makes it sound way too like mushed together, and it doesn't sound like clear. Like you can't. I don't hear where like certain things are.
Are you? It's like the production quality is like super washed out and stuff.
Which is a fair criticism of the whole album.
Yeah, it's a fair criticism of the whole album, but I do agree with Beau on this. It's very bad on this song.
Yeah, I think this and Going Blind really suffer the most from it.
Agreed. I think it's because on Going Blind you have a lot of not necessarily open chords, but just like it's very chord heavy instead of riff heavy.
Right.
So it gets washed out because they just put a lot of reverb on the or not on the drums, but the guitars. And then this one too, it's
the production really hurt this song.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I like Paul's vocals on this. I love the "I'm coming home to you," which he does really well on the unplugged version. But the studio version of these vocals is okay. It's solid showing, but still nothing to be just wowed by. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much Coming Home. The next song is a very interesting one because I never really listened to Hotter Than Hell as much other than the title track song when I was growing up. I never really knew Strange Ways. And I never really listened to it. And I'm not going to lie, not the first time, but I did not like this song up until maybe last year. For some reason, I thought that the guitar riff was just, fuck, I can't even think of how it goes right now. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like that, it was so like, I don't know, simple to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of slow and plodding.
Yeah,
but I feel like that kind of lends it an air of like not necessarily foreboding, but it gives it a little edge.
It really does, and I think that's why I've started to grow on me, is because it fits the song in the sense that the song is just plotting in general. Like you have a like kind of like a creepy feel to this song, you know,
a little bit
mysterious. Obviously the track title is Strange Ways, so it sounds strange to me. Like the aura and the vibe of this track really does feel strange. Obviously written by Ace Frehley, given to Peter to sing. Do you have any thoughts on the vocals or the drumming or anything like that, Beau?
The song honestly does nothing for me.
Really?
Nothing. It's just there to me.
Yeah.
But like I was listening to a documentary on YouTube and this song came up and he's like, this song reminds me of a Sabbath song.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Kinda. I definitely get where that would come from. I actually, fun little tidbit, Peter wanted to put a 7-minute drum solo in this song.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and he made he made the threat, if you cut it, I quit. And they said, fuck it. And they cut it. Because
from what I read, they recorded
it and
then he walked out of the room and then they fucking cut it while he was out of the room, and when he came back in he was like, what the fuck?
Which I'm not surprised, because from all the accounts I've read on it, they all said it was not a good drum solo.
Right. Definitely some drugs were probably involved in some sort of way. This song is interesting. It's got some okay lyrics. I like Peter's voice on it. It's not like the same jazzy, soul filled type vocals that we get. There's a little bit of soul in there with the 'cause it's a strange way.
Right.
Or whatever.
This is the first Peter Criss song that I don't like.
Yeah, I understand. That being said, I do like the drums in this because it's very plotting too. There's a lot of like chugga chug not on the guitar but on the drums. The snare drum really kind of chugs along and plods through.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about earlier. And then I also really do I fucking love the guitar solo on this song. It is so like mind fucking to me.
Yeah, it's really weird. And, you know, it's definitely got a lot of that like heavy wah kind of sound to it.
Yes.
And I mean, it's an interesting solo.
Right.
It really it moves.
Exactly. And there's just so many different elements to it. And we were talking about this the other day, but I want to talk about it again. There's so many people who have tried to learn this guitar solo and they just cannot replicate it. And they don't know how he played it. And I think I was listening to, once again, the Eddie Trunk podcast, and it was either him or a guest had said, I think he was talking to Ace actually, and one of the questions that, you know, one of the fans sent in to Eddie Trunk said, how did you record the guitar solo for Strange Ways? Because there have been reports or rumors that he recorded the guitar solo and then they put it into obviously they recorded a tape and then they reversed that tape and then re-recorded it. So like part of the guitar solo is technically in reverse, especially towards the middle of it where it starts to get super wonky, which is some pretty cool, I guess you could say, production choices.
Right.
But it's just like a nutty solo, really. You feel so discombobulated throughout all of it, which I think lends to the track name pretty well, you know?
Yeah.
Was there anything that you wanted to add about that?
No, not really. I think you covered it pretty well.
And then as always, any Ace Frehley song, the bass guitar usually follows what the guitar is doing. Yeah. What an album. I mean, we're going to go into our 3-in-1, which is like what I like to call our, you know, pick 3, discard 1. We're going to get to that here in just a sec, but I just want to make some comments. This album is a solid album with some awesome songs, but what really what really kind of holds it down is the production quality on this, sadly. There are certain songs like All the Way and Parasite and Strange Ways as well that I think are perfect for this album in the sense of what they were trying to go for with the production choices and quality and how it has like that kind of dirty, trashy, heavy feel, you know?
Yeah.
But a lot of the other songs is just, I feel like what holds them back is, you know, sadly, it sounds like the drums are literally in a fucking Tupperware. He's playing on Tupperware. And then there's the guitars are super washed out half the time. Sometimes you can't even hear the guitar solos because they're just like so far back in the mix. And
yeah.
And like, you know, we brought up they're panned in different ways, 2 different solos going on at once. And it's weird. I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, other than the production, yeah, no. I think this album would have been better without that trying to capture that live feel.
Right.
Which I definitely get why they did, but no, I agree.
Yeah. And did you have anything you want to add?
Not really. I mean, I think you guys covered it pretty well. They went for something. I don't think it worked very well.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and do our 3-in-1. And I'll start with Tyler. 3 songs, or we'll do the one part. 1 song that you would discard off this album.
You know, this one sucks because it's harder with this album, in my opinion, because I don't have a song I don't like.
Right.
I definitely think there is a song or 2 that I think is weaker, but they're not bad. You know, it's not like we have Kiss in Time or anything from the last album. There are just a couple songs that I don't think hold up as well as the rest of the album does. Yep. And for me, I'm probably going Mainline. It's not bad. It just, in my opinion, it's the weakest off the album.
Yeah, I can agree. If you want to go ahead, Beau, with your 1 discard song.
Going Blind.
Going Blind. Wow. I thought you were going to go with Strange Ways.
I thought he was going to go Coming Home.
Actually,
really?
No. Coming Home, if it was just cleaner, I'd have loved it more. Strange Ways is just because it doesn't do anything for me. It's still a solid song.
Yeah.
I just cannot. I do not like Going Blind on this album.
Really? All right, that's fair enough. All right. 3 songs, I guess I'll do mine real quick. Discard. It's going to be Mainline for all the reasons that Tyler listed, which I don't want to say again. 3 songs that you ranked 1, 2, and 3. What are your top 3 songs on this, Tyler?
I'm definitely putting Parasite at my top. It just, for me, that song is one of my favorites of all time. Beyond that, I'm probably going to do the title track. And then I actually think I'll put Strange Ways at 3.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Glad to see Strange Ways get some love. And what about you, Beau? Top 3 ranked 1, 2, and 3.
Number 1's Parasite, like you said. Absolutely a wonderful song. Number 2, I have a tie actually between Got to Choose and Let Me Go Rock and Roll.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then for number 3, I have, this is where we differ. You guys got rid of Mainline. I actually like it.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
I like the more like
Mainline
fun.
sounds like it could have been on the first album to me.
A little bit, yeah.
I like those. And then All the Way and Hotter Than Hell is a 3-way tie.
Damn.
I can't choose just one there. I really can't.
Just list half the album and just top 3.
I can't. It's hard.
Good, that's great.
Like, if you would have asked me to like last year, I could have gave you a top 3 easily.
Yeah.
This year, after listening to it again, I just can't.
Right. I like how your opinion on the album's changed though, because I know even going into last week, you were like, "Man, not for me."
Yeah, because we made a joke that you had. We were going to do Beau's unpopular opinion or something like that because you had mentioned something about how you were going to trash Hotter Than Hell, but it's nice to see that. Obviously, you're not saying you didn't like Hotter Than Hell, but just in general, it's good to see that you have changed. And honestly, my viewpoint on this album has changed too. That being said, my top 3. Number 1, Parasite. Like I said, it's one of our collective favorites. Number 2, I'd probably have to go with Got to Choose. I love that song so much. I do like pop music for what it's worth, and I feel like that is a solid pop song, but still stays true to the rock and roll, hard, just hard rock kind of vibe. And then my 3rd, I would go with Watching You. I really love that song. I love that opening riff. It gives, I feel like it kind of foreshadows All Hell's Breaking Loose too. It kind of starts
I kind of see
that,
what you mean, yeah.
That area too. And All Hell's Breaking Loose is one of my favorite, non-makeup Kiss songs. And
yeah.
So I love Watching You. I think the drums in it are awesome. I love how it sounds like a jam track to me. And they just have a lot of fun when they play it live. So those are definitely my top 3. And with that being said, what are your guys' overall opinions on this album? And I kind of want to get your guys' ratings on this album as well. Out of 10 for Hotter Than Hell, because I personally love this album. The production quality, like we've said before many of times, is, a little bit fucky, but I still think it's a good overall album, even with the production, because it does kind of help some songs like Parasite, and I think Watching You.
Yeah, I think it gives Strange Ways an interesting quality to it too.
Yeah,
but,
Strange Ways.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like you said, the production's a bit dodgy, but you win some, you lose some. I don't really blame them. I think the songwriting is definitely better than the first record. So, for me, I'm definitely giving it a 9.
9 out of 10.
Yeah, just, with Mainline being the only song on the album, I kind of just, I love the rest of the album.
Right.
So, I can't justify dropping it.
Yeah. What about you, Beau?
Like you said, the production is just barely enough to hold it back from a 9 for me, but I'd still give it about an 8.
8. Okay. That's pretty fair. I would have to give it an 8 as well. I don't like this album as much as I like the first one, especially when I went back and listened through. But because I think we all gave the first album 9s, and I think this one is a strong 8. The case can be made for it to be a 9 in my opinion as well, but it's just the production quality does kind of unfortunately do a little bit of damage to it in my, opinion. So, I mean, there's not really much else to cover for this album other than it's another phenomenal album. I mean, the first 2 albums from Kiss, and you don't really have a big miss yet, But with that being said, next week we are going to be covering Dress to Kill, the 3rd studio album from Kiss, and should be a fun one because I think this is where our opinions really start to differ, and it's going to be interesting to see your guys' viewpoint on that one as well, because it's some people look at it as one of the best Kiss albums, and some, there's some people, and I'm not going to say who within our friend group, who don't really care for it that much. So it's going to be fun to get your guys' opinions on that. And if you guys are still listening, be sure to check out last week's episode. If you haven't, we covered a little bit of the history of Kiss, the first album, and we went through a track by track analysis, and we also did a summary and a rating on that album as well. So just want to say thank you guys for listening to this episode. Make sure to check out next week's episode, and hope you guys all have a great rest of the week. For myself, for Tyler, and for Beau, we'll catch you next time.